Hello, hello, friend. Welcome back. Happy Sunday. And it is time to show you what sold. So we're going to go over a few things that have sold for the last week on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari. Still no Etsy sales, so I'm really on the fence. I've only had one sale on Etsy since I went back a little over a month ago. Let me know if you sell on Etsy, how your sales are, and if they're good, tell me what you're selling, because maybe I'm just not putting the right stuff there. So I'm going to show you eBay. I'm going to show you a few from Poshmark as well as a couple from Mercari, so you know exactly what's selling now. So if your sales are down, maybe you have some of these items in your death pile, or maybe you'll run into them while you're out thrifting and sourcing. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so here's a roller coaster that is known as eBay. Last video, we were up 15%. This video, we're down 15%. So you never know what day is going to fall off day by day. Yesterday, we were actually still up. So I must have dropped like $1,000 or $2,000 sales day on that 90-day or 31-day total, but that's okay. So for the week, you can see here we are at 24.29. Today we're at 255. It's a little before noon, so still pretty early. For the month, we are at 13,605, and we are still over that $40,000 mark for the last 90 days, 40,500. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you about 15 to 20 things that sold on eBay to make up those totals. And then we will also take a look at a few over on Poshmark and Mercari. We are going to start off with this Clockworks, and this is a windshield for Harley touring models. You can see I did put Reed. So this was listed back in May, and it actually sold a while ago. But when we went to ship it, I noticed that where the bolts affix the windshield to the motorcycle, there were some cracks. So I messaged that buyer. They said they would rather I cancel. I did. I listed it back up again with Reed, and you can see I put there is a crack on the windshield where it attaches to the bike. Please see pictures, and lowered the price. I think I had it at $149, dropped it down to $119. It did sell for that full asking price. So still, even with defects, sold. So here you can see the photos of the actual cracks here, right where it goes. And this is a new windshield, so I think it was something that had to do with the production of it. But an amazing sale, $120. I did pay $50 for this at the thrift store, so it is about a $50 profit after fees, and it took about 3 months. Next up is a vintage Roseville pottery. Guys, this thing took 3 years to sell. 3 years. Long time. I got it from one of my mom's friends when she was downsizing and moving into an RV. I did send a 50% off offer on this one because it had been here since August of 21, so exactly 3 years, and it sold for $64.67. It does have a crack, and I was about $5 into this initially, so it's still about a $50 profit. Here you can see the photographs. You can see this chip here, pretty prevalent chip on the inside rim of that, so not necessarily really easy to hide. It is visible from the outside as well, but out defects, this was worth a couple $100. So I am happy to get that $60 and make a $50 profit and move something out that has been here for 3 years. Next up is a vintage Shelly trio. This one was just listed in March, so not very long. If you do not know, Shelly is definitely one of the names in teacups that you need to remember. One of my favorites. So this one, I sent out an offer of $50. It was accepted. I picked this up for $10 at an estate sale, so it's about a $30 profit after fees. Not too bad, and I absolutely love Shelly. Now, a lot of Shelly teacups are worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. This pattern just wasn't one of the more rare ones, but a $50 sale on a 3-piece set to me is still a good sale and good profit, though it did take about 3 months to sell. Next up is a handkerchief, and I haven't been selling many handkerchiefs, and I think that's because I haven't been listing many handkerchiefs. So this one was actually just listed in April, so it did not take very long to sell, and I listed it because of that vibrant purple, and there's so much color and pattern to this one. So this one I accepted a best offer of $16. I only paid $1, so it's about a $12 profit after fees, and again, only 3 months. So when you have those bright, vibrant vintage hankies, this also has that decorative trim. Those are ones that definitely can sell by themselves. Up next is a really, really good sale, and I actually got 3 pieces of the Rookwood pottery, the 24 karat paperweight, so I do still have 2 left. This one was just listed last month. It did sell for full price of $129.99. I'm about $30 in, so it's about an $80 profit after fees, and these are really rare. So if you find these Rookwood pottery 24 karat paperweights, they are very limited edition. Here you can see it is a golden canary from 1988. This stamp is the Rookwood pottery stamp. And I believe this one was about, I think it was 500 that the limited edition was. And I did get this from an online auction. A non-branded scarf. So this is another one that it's all about the pattern. Now it was made in Italy, which does help. This one was listed back in April, so it took close to 4 months to sell, but not branded. So here you can see the houndstooth pattern in the back. It did sell for full price of $19.49. I only paid $1 for this. So this was the only tag that was on it. 100% polyester, made in Italy. So this is not a silk piece. Still sold for that $19, making it a $15 profit in about 4 months. Next up is a 1972 Blue Nun Seychelles white wine paper bottle, New York and Germany vintage. I picked this up at $1 estate sale. I picked it up over on my Catch Treasure Hunting channel. I have had it for a little while. It was listed back in March, so about 5 months to sell. Sold for full price of $20.99, making it about a $16 profit. It is from 1973. Was in excellent condition. So I just love the way this bottle looked. Just grabbed it. I didn't research it, but I am happy with that $21 from a $1 buy. Next up are some moccasins. I picked these up at a thrift store down in Clearwater. I paid $3 for them. They were listed back in May, so less than 3 months for these to sell. Only paid $3. They did sell for full price of $34.99. And you can see there's a little bit of discoloration on the inside, but they were new with the tags. It does say made in America by Native Americans. You can see on the bottom, they might have been tried on to be, or worn to be tried on. You can see here again, discoloration. I believe that's simply from age and storage. And amazing sale, $25 profit in under 3 months. If you see moccasins, especially if they still have those tags, pick them up. Next up is this really cool etched stone piece. I actually got 4 that were very similar to this in an online auction lot. I paid $5 for this. It was listed back in April. It sold for a best offer of $33. So it's about a $25 profit. Now it was sold. I was not able to identify that signature, unfortunately, but really, really neat piece. And from 5 into 33, I'm happy with it. And it did just take a few months. Next up is some red ring lotus 1940s pottery plates. These are 10 inches. They did sell for full price of $35.74. I actually have 8, or I had 8. So I listed them in 2 sets of 4. So you can see it says 1 sold, last one available. I got these so cheap in an online auction lot. I'm less than $1 in. So it's close to a $30 profit. And these were not listed very long. They were just listed back in April. So about 3 months for these to sell. Here you can see that red wing pottery stamp as well as the measurement. These are beautiful, beautiful plates. I love this set. And again, I was able to get them for way under $1 a piece in an online auction. Next up is a Mark Roberts Christmas Eve elf fairy doll. This one I sent an offer out of $39.19, so it did sell for that discount. I sent that 30% off because it was listed back in March, so we've had it 5 months and I was ready for it to go. So I paid $20, so it's actually only about a $14 profit after fees. But I also recoup my initial investment and have that money to buy better inventory. Watch for Mark Roberts. His more limited edition pieces are worth quite a bit more, as well as his larger pieces. This one is a 9-inch, but he does make them up to like 20 to 30 inches, and those sell for several $100s. Next up is a Rae Dunn Boo plush throw blanket black. It was 50 by 70. I picked this up in a thrift store when I was thrifting with Sam and Adam, Jolie Flips Vintage here on YouTube. And I knew right away that writing was Mackenzie Childs was Rae Dunn. And I paid $4 for this at the thrift store. It was listed back in November though. So this one took almost 9 months to sell. So quite a long time. I sent a 30% off offer. It sold for $22.74. So it's only about a $13 profit. But I think the thing that's important to remember with these sales that take longer is you learn that that item takes longer, so you can kind of decide if you want to pick it up, if it's going to take longer, if you have the room, depending on your business model. And you also get your initial investment back plus a little bit of profit. So I am okay with that. I thought this was a really cool blanket. I listed it in November, so I listed it right after Halloween. So that probably has a lot to do with it as well. Up next are some Jack Daniel's honeycomb glasses. These took about 6 months to sell, but I picked them up in an online auction lot. I am less than $5 in. They sold for a best offer of $35, but again, I've had them 6 months, so I get back that initial investment plus about a $20 profit. And these have that really cool honeycomb on them. So this is another one that does take a little bit longer to sell. So these are something that if you don't have a lot of space, I probably would pass up on. Next up is a Brighton bag. I got this in an online auction for about $5. This one I've had for about 3 months. I got an offer of $35. I did accept that. It's a little over that 10%, but this one was in excellent condition. I only paid that $5. So it's about a $27 profit. You can see that Brighton tag there. Really, really nice purse. Took a few months, but still a great sale. Next up is a Vera Bradley quilted tote bag. This one took only a month. So with Vera Bradley, it really depends on the pattern. And this pattern is pink paisley and elephant. And this one is a popular one. So if you see this one, definitely pick it up. This one was just listed back in June. So not very long, and it sold for $35.99, a 10% offer I sent out. So you see a lot of these are selling from offers. So if you're not sending offers to buyers, definitely take advantage of that feature. And this one was a fast sale. I am less than $5 in, so it is about a $23 to $24 profit. Next up is one that was just listed back in April, so about 3.5 months for this one to sell. I did accept a best offer of $20 on this, but this is one I got from a thrift store for $1. So if you watch my Catch Treasure Hunting channel, you will know that I have a lot of stores near me that have dollar clothing. So when I see larger sizes, especially jackets, I pick them up. So I accepted that $20 on this one, making it about a $15 profit. North End is not an overly well-known brand, but this is a large size. So watch for those bigger sizes, and if you can get stuff cheap and you're able to describe it well, I would pick it up. Next up is a Robert Rakes bear. So I picked up a ton of these bears at a thrift store. It was listed back in April. I'm about $10 into it, and I accepted a best offer of $55. Because we're coming up on 4 months listed, I didn't have a high investment into it. So it's still over a $40 profit. Now, I'm going to go back here. The reason I picked this up is because it was a limited edition of 500. So for me, anytime I see limited edition 500 or less, I'm definitely paying more attention to those. And this one took 3 months, but I sold 2 or 3 pretty fast above the $70 price point. Next up is another April one. So we're having a lot in this video that are taking 3 and 4 months to sell. So if you're new, do not give up. And it can take a little while. You know, like 3 to 4 months is not bad, but if you don't have room, that could make it difficult. And this is a big blanket. This is a 93 by 112. So very large blanket. Picked this up. I'm having problems talking this afternoon. Picked this up at the thrift store for just $5. I did accept a best offer of $35 on this one. So it's about a $22 to $23 profit, but really, really cool blanket. I love the horses and the Aztec design, and this is something I would pick up again. Next up is a Lily Bloom Catherine Eco Crossbody Coho bag. This one sold for full price. Lily Bloom can do very well. It's just like Vera Bradley. It really is dependent on the pattern. This one took 6 months though, so it did take longer, but I picked this up at the thrift store for $5. It did sell for full price at that $34.99, and it's about a $25 profit. So here you can see the photographs. We do stuff our purses for the photos, just a little FYI. I think it makes them look much better. And this one took 6 months, but still was a $25 profit. Last on eBay, you guys laugh at me, not all of you, but a lot of you laugh at me because I like to pick up cups at the thrift store. So these cups were 50 cents each. I'm $1 in. They're Atlanta Braves 2015 John Smoltz. They're just cups from the stadium. They sold pretty darn fast. They sold in a month for $20. So this is a $15 profit on 2 plastic cups. So I think cups are definitely worth looking at. Some are not worth picking up, but some are. And I only got these because there were 2. If there had only been 1, I would have left it. But great, great sale. And that is going to be it for eBay. And now we will jump over to Mercari. First up on Mercari is this Chanel empty necklace box. And it's funny because I've actually lowered the price of these on eBay, but I didn't on Poshmark. So they were still priced at $64 on Poshmark, and somebody sent me a $50 offer. I accepted. There are no fees. I am $4 into this box. This is a $46 profit on Mercari. So if you see these empty designer boxes, definitely pick them up. Up next is an India Fall table runner, beige embroidered with pumpkins. I did put reed on this. Sorry, I'm scrolling. This was a really long runner. So my first picture is the one that's zoomed in so they could see the detail of this. I picked this up at a church thrift store for $2 and it sold for $17. So it is a $15 profit. It does have a little spot here. That is why we put reed. So you can see it here. And this one was just listed in July. So not very long. There were a few spots and still a really, really good $15 profit on this one. Now we are going to move over to Poshmark, and this Nike Jacksonville Jaguars Dryfit Polo sold in under a week for $32. I picked this up for $5 at my local thrift store. So it's still a $20 profit. So I've been saying it over and over. I'm going to keep saying it. Football is starting. If you see or have football apparel or fan gear, get it listed now. Next up is LL Bean Flannel Pajamas, and I got these for only $2 at the thrift store, and they sold in under a month for $35. So the payout was $28. So these are a $26 profit. Keep your eye out for LL Bean. I do very, very well with LL Bean. These were size extra large, so they were a good size. And a lot of you asked me with these measurements, that is the Smart Sizer app. It is only available on iPhone, but it is free. And that is what we use to measure our clothing. And this was a great, great sale and fast in under a month. Next is this Susan Sargent hand-painted Italian picture. And this one actually took 2 years to sell. I really thought it would do well, but it didn't. I had it at 130. Somebody offered me 80. I took it. It was a $64 payout. I paid $5 years ago for this at the thrift store. So, I mean, it's still about a $50 profit, but this is not something that I would pick up again. So I picked it up because it was signed. It said made in Italy. I think this pattern just probably wasn't more like a vibrant, popular pattern, but still a good profit, even though it took a long time. Up is this Schumacher Damask Red. This is a fabric sample. This one sold for $24 on Poshmark. I got this in a bag of fabric samples. I'm like maybe a quarter in. So this one is about an $18 profit, and it sold in about 2 months. So here you can see the Schumacher Fabrics tag. I think it was originally $10.50 for this sample. You can see the measurements, 25-inch by 29, so not bad. And again, I bought a whole bag full of a bunch of samples for really cheap at the thrift store. So keep an eye out. There are a lot of different fabrics that will sell very, very well. All right, that was everything. If you don't know already, we do use List Perfectly to cross-post our listings to eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, and Kidizen, which are not having many sales for us. They do have the amazing new AI lister that creates your listings from only photos. If you would like to give that a shot, try it out for a month. You can get 30% off the first month with my code, The Nurse Flipper. I really, really appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next one.